from Spain. I'm very grateful to be here with you to participate in these wonderful activities. And I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, okay, perfect. So my name is Paula. I'm PhD candidate at Complutense University of Madrid, and today I'm going to talk about terrorism and violent extremists as key players in the removal of illegal content from the internet. This is the table of content that I'm going to follow in today. And let's start with a question. What goes through someone's mind for an idea, no matter how strong it is, to turn into violence? It is a complicated question, right? Well, let's try to shed a bit of light on this process, which is incredibly complex and often talked about, though not always properly understood. To get started, here is our roadmap. First, we will clarify some key terms that's fundamental. Then, we will dive into the human factor. After that, we will look at the huge role the internet plays in all this. And finally, we will bring it all down to earth with the real data and figures. Let's begin at the beginning by naming things properly because words matter and they matter a lot. We have all heard the words radical, extremist used as if they mean the same, right? Well, they don't, and confusing them can be a real problem. Here is the key question. Where exactly is the line between radical, transformative thinking and violent action? Because think about it, not every idea that's got against the established order is bad, far from it. History is full of radical ideas that have pursued society forward. The real danger lies in knowing where that frontier is and what happens when it crosses. Let's break it down so it's clear. Imagine radicalism as someone say, "Hey, the rules of this game don't work. Well, we need to change them from top to bottom so it is fair for everyone." That may sounds drastic, but this person still wants everyone to keep playing. Now, extremism, that's a whole different story. The extremist says, no, no, to win, I have got to kick everyone else off the board. And if I have to use the force, I will. S- Do you see the difference? That's when violence enters the picture. It stops being taboo and becomes just another tool. And that takes us to final step, the point of no return, violence extremism. And at this point, we have led the war of idea behind. Now it is pure action. Violence is no longer a distant option. It is the main tool for achieving goals, used even if it means traveling over life, freedom of and human rights. Now, let's dive into the most complicated and slippery part of all, the human mind. What's happened inside a person for them to start down this part? Let's be clear, no one wake up. in the morning looks at the mirror and say, okay, today I'm going to become an extremist. No, it doesn't work that way. It is a process, gradual process, and it almost always starts with a crack. It will be a personal crisis. The feelings of not fitting in anywhere, a sense of exclusion, or a real of perceived injustice that burns deep inside. And that's exactly where extremist groups are absolutely master. They show up and offer a kind of fun, super simple answer to unbelievable complex problems. This psychological journey usually follows a few very specific steps. First, the search for identity, finding who I am, that gives meaning to everything. Then, the need for belonging. Suddenly, these groups give you a family, a brotherhood, a sense of us. Then, the feeling of victimization, a powerful story takes shape as versus the world, where we are the victims, the ones who suffer. And finally, deshumanization, the other, the one who isn't like us, stops being a person. They become a symbol, an enemy, an object, and that's when the empathy switch flips off. But there is something very curious and very powerful that happens inside this victim mentality, competitive victimization. It's like a competition, an Olympics of suffering. It's no longer enough just to be a victim. You have to be the victim, the one who has suffered the most. The group fight to prove that their pain is the greater of all. And why? Because the group that wins the competition, the one recognized as the most wronged, feels it has a kind of moral license to do whatever it takes. Anything becomes justified. If psychology is the fuel, the internet is the turbo changer. Technology, especially the internet, has been a genuine game changer, completely rewriting the rules of radicalization. The internet has created the perfect Reddit growth, a kind of greenhouse from the most extreme ideas. Suddenly, social media becomes a place where ideas that once lived on the margins are not only tolerated, that they are celebrated. And it's a space where a person can find thousands of others who think just like them. And that's create a massive validation effect. Ideas bounce off each other in a feedback loop that keeps growing. Think about the ingredient of this digital cocktail. Anonymity. You put on a mask and dare to say things you will never say to someone's face. Then, algorithms. They see what you like and start bombarding you with more of the same, dragging you deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. It is the famous echo chamber, the resonant books where you only ever hear what you already believe. Then, global network. Someone who feels completely alone in a small town suddenly becomes part of a global community. And in this environment, disinformation and propaganda thrive. They spread at lightning speed, not as long, dense reports, but as memes, viral videos, shaping a kind of parallel reality. So we have compared theory, psychology, and technology. Now let's look at the numbers. If we move to the very latest data, Europol give us a snapshot of the situation across the European Union. The numbers speak for themselves. Arrests for jihadist terrorists are the far or the most numerous. Now, that doesn't mean that other threats don't exist or aren't dangerous, not all, but it does show where the main focus of Europe's security force currently lies. And since this topic has sparked so much discussion, let's talk about a new law that requires only platform to remove terrorist content within just 1 hour. It is genuine race against the clock. It is really changing the rules of the digital world. To understand why the European Union has decided to act so decisively, we first need to be clear about the problem it is trying to tackle. Experts call it media jihad, a phenomenon that frankly has spiraled out of control in recent years. Think about the internet. It's global, decentralized, and that has made it a perfect branding ground for terrorist organizations with little oversight and the anonymity the web offers. They have found the ideal space to spread their message. And what's out, their use of this platform goes far beyond simple propaganda. The internet has been used to recruit people to radicalize so-called lone wolf, to plan attacks, and even to glorify their own atrocities. All this has had direct tragic consequence in attack we have seen across Europe. The initial approach was voluntary cooperation with the major tech company, but that good faith agreement simply didn't deliver the expected results. So the European Union decided to put its foot down and move to a much stricter binding legal framework applied directly across all member states with no excuse. The key feature here is a mechanism designed to be incredibly fast. The removal order. This change everything. A removal order is a legally binding decision that an European Union authority sends directly without intermediaries to a platform, and it must comply. And here is the bombshell detail, the time frame. Platform have exactly 1 hour, just 1 hour. 1 hour from the moment they receive the order to take down the counter or block access across the entire European Union. Just 60 minutes to react. And you say, okay, Paula, who does this apply to? The law refers to data hosting service provides a very broad category that includes not only major social media platform, but also service for sharing videos, photos, files, basically almost any cloud-based service. Let's see now how this works in real life, step by step. The process is designed to be direct and extremely fast. First, an authority issues the order. Then, the platform receives it and within an hour, remove the content. And finally, it notifies the authority that it has complied. A cycle built for maximum efficiency. Perhaps the most powerful feature of this regulation it is cross-border effect. What does it mean? In practice, it means that national borders inside the European Union basically disappear. But of course, such a powerful measure raises a deeper debate. This regulation works a fine line between ensuring public safety and protecting fundamental rights like freedom of expression. To narrow the playing field, the law gives a fairly specific definition of what counts as terrorist content. Material that's inside the commission of terrorist offense, recruit for terrorist groups, provide instruction for making weapons, or threaten with attack. However, the regulation also includes important safeguards. It's made clear that content shared for educational, journalistic, artistic, or research purpose does not fall into this category. And crucially, it also protects the expression of radical or controversial opinion as part of public debate. Right then, let's give a name and a face to the protagonist of this part of this story. As I'm from Spain, I have to talk about UNECI. It's called UNECI, which stands for the National Unit for the Removal of Illegal Online Content. Now, make no mistake, this unit didn't appear out of the thin air. It is a result of an evolution, a process that been unfolding for years. If we look at the timeline, everything begins around 2015 with European level cooperation. The next big milestone comes in 2021 when its parent organization, the CITCO, or Intelligence Center Against Terrorism and Organized Crime, is officially designated as Spain's competent authority in this field. By 2023, we see the first official removal order. This is important. And the final touch comes in 2024, when the unit, I said before, UNECI, is formally established in the by royal decree. Once a removal order is issued, the rule is crystal clear. The platform has 1 hour, just 1 hour, no more, to comply. There is no room for negotiation or suggestion. In this picture, in this slide, here is a code. You can scan the code and download the report in an English version because Now, let's get to really interesting part, the data. Well, UNEFI's transparency report for 2023 and 2024, here is the code, as I said before, tell us everything. Everything. Take a look at this. Here we can see the number of mandatory removal order issues. 62 in 2023 and 72 in 2024. But the truly impressive figure isn't the quantity, it is the effectiveness. Out of 134 removal issues, 100% were successfully carried out. Every single one. So then, where was all the content hosted? The graph speaks for itself. The vast majority of these order, 90 of them, 90 of them, were directed at Telegram. And then far behind come Facebook and Internet Archive. Now we come to the one of the most revealing, perhaps even surprising findings in this report. In the report, look at the ideological origin of the content. While jihadist material has actually decreased, violent far-right content has tripled, so much so that by 2024, far-right content had actually overtaken jihadist content. That's a total paradigm shift, and it tells us the map of digital threats. It's changing and changing fast. And now let's focus on this other figure. Since 2017, earlier we mentioned the 134 mandatory removal orders. Well, this number 6,017 represent the notification or suggestion, the referrals between 2023 and 2024. This makes one thing very clear. When it comes to volume, the main tool isn't enforcement, it is collaboration with online platforms. And to close and end my presentation, I will give you an example of a content that has recently been removed by a remove order. It was a video by the production company Al Hayat, one of the official Daesh production companies. Here you can see 4 moments of that video, where the logo of the production company, the banner of the terrorist organization, in this case it was Daesh, and some of its most characteristic magazine throughout its history, such as David here appear. In this case, it was a video encouraging the terrorist organization fighter and supported anywhere in the world to attack and inciting him to commit a suicide act and against whom. So I think I good of time. I love speaking, but I good of time. So thank you so much for your attention. And I said before, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm very grateful. I'm really very grateful to participate in this type of activity, which are very necessary.
Thank you so much, Paula.